After a very long wait, a very grueling process, I finally sat down and I watched The New Mutants. Yes, the X-Men spin-off, sorta kinda, horror, YA, romance, drama, thriller, whatever the hell this movie's supposed to be. And honestly, it wasn't horrible. I don't understand why a lot of people were saying the movie was total garbage. So basically, I'm gonna give you the rundown of the movie in my and then format that me and my cousins used to do. Actually, I came up with it and they just laughed at me as I did it, but you get where I'm coming from. So there's this girl who lives with her dad on a reservation. He wakes her up out of the middle of the night and something horrible happens and he dies and she's still alive. And then she finds herself at a facility with this weird doctor who says that it's a safe place for mutants as they come into their power. And they're most dangerous because they don't know how to control their power. The main character, who is called Danny, is introduced to 4 other mutant children. Makes me wonder why there's only like 5 of them total. One is San, one is Ilyana, one is Berto, and one is Rain. Everyone knows their power except for Danny, except at this point in time, you can already figure out what her power is. This movie is so predictable, your expectations are last year, if that makes sense. And then when Danny figures out that she can't leave because the doctor lady has powers and she has this big dome thing around the facility so the others can't leave, she tries to kill herself. And then Rain, the girl who she ends up hooking up with, stops her. And then all of the guys and girls of the facility, except for the doctor, start having horrible nightmares. These nightmares only started happening when Danny, the main character, came into the scene. The nightmares are their worst fears or things that they had to live through that were horrible. And then the doctor lady gets an order to actually kill Danny because she can't be saved, even though she hasn't been there that long. And then the rest of the teens, including the one, Ilyana, who hated her, decides to help her. And then Danny is knocked out as the doctor lady tries to put her to sleep while she has all of them in their own respective force fields. Because Danny is afraid and she's dying, her power manifests, and it turns out that her power was the very thing that ended up killing everyone on her reservation, including her father. A big-ass demon bear from a story her dad told her concerning your fear, and the bear is a manifestation of when you feed your fear. And then the bear bites through the facility and kills a lady doctor, the force fields drop, and Danny's saved. Not really, because all the other mutants are still in danger because that big-ass bear is still flying around while Danny is in her mind. And then they all fight off against the bear, but they're not really losing and not really winning either. And then the one guy who can set himself and everything else on fire is scared, so the other mutant guy is like, come on, nut up, man, you can do this. So the fire guy's like, yeah, you're right. He sets himself on fire, but then he doesn't. Now he's like charcoal, and instead of setting himself aflame like he did previously and how he actually killed people in the past so that he could hug on to the bear and set it on fire, he doesn't. He just kind of changes into this weird cool down version of himself and just throws wood at the bear. And then Rain talks to Danny and asks her to help them, and then Danny wakes up and then pets the bear and tells the bear it's gonna be okay, and then it goes away. And now they're all free because the lady doctor's no longer around. So now you have 5 mutants that are now running free who don't know how to control their powers. The end.
No, nigga!
So, this movie wasn't horrible, and I didn't sit down watching it, waiting for it to be over like I do most movies. If I'm looking at the clock or I have to put mental strain on myself to sit down and actually watch something straight through, it's horrible. But this wasn't like that. I was actually waiting to see where this would go, even though it was horribly predictable, and exactly what I thought was going to happen was what happened. I figured out in like the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie what the issue was, and so the rest of the movie was just me waiting for the characters to figure it out. And it was like, really, that's not really fun. Like, that's not my idea of fun. See, when I watch shows like Invincible, I'm sitting there guessing and predicting what will happen because that's how our mind works. Our brain tries to fill in the blanks and fill in information that's not yet completely filled in. Some people don't have a filter for this, and you'll catch them trying to finish every sentence that you start, and it's just so annoying when they get it wrong. So I wanted to go to school and talk to him, and then...
Oh my god, and then you totally did.
No. And then I went to my teacher, and she said I had to stay after school, and that it was probably better for me to...
Oh, take the course over? Oh my god, you could totally see him again.
No, I was gonna say transfer.
Oh, okay.
She thinks I should transfer because this school apparently is not challenging enough.
What do you mean by that?
Exactly. I don't even understand what that means either. But don't worry, I'm gonna go to her tomorrow and see if I can...
Oh my god, get him to transfer too, so that both of you can go to the same school.
No.
Oh, okay.
That kind of thing when I'm watching shows or movies is usually an inner monologue, and if I'm making videos about it, I'm like, this is what I think will happen, because it's fun. And then it doesn't happen. Not because the showrunners were trying to be little asshats and going out of their way specifically to subvert your expectations, but because it's actually a good story that's not grossly predictable. Like this movie was. Like I said, it's not a bad movie, it's just the kind of movie that you watch and you're like, okay, that was awkward, but that was a decent experience, and then you never think about it ever again. It just fades into the obscurity of your subconscious. And if you die, or you're dying, or you're in a situation where you have to delve into your subconscious, that's like that little room in a dollhouse that you used to put cotton in, and then stuffed it into a box behind all of these other boxes, in a filing cabinet, behind all these other filing cabinets, in a very deep, dark room, in a house, in the dungeon of your mind that is like in the back of the freaking facility. Like, the rest of the cinematic world is either on the body of the dog, like the face, depending on how good it is. It could be the bark, it could be the teeth, it could be the fur, it could be the feet. But this movie isn't really even the anus. It's the dingleberry that's at the tip of the anus, but on the inside so you can't see it. It's the part that pops out before all the other fresh poo pushes it past there. You don't even see it when it happens. You're just like, oh wow, the dog was plugged up and just removed the plug and all the fresh feces is flowing. That's what this movie is. It's not bad, it served a purpose, I guess? Or not. It really didn't. Come to think of it, yeah, there was no purpose. There was really no purpose for this movie. It just felt like it was shut out because the studios were like, what are we gonna do with it? We just can't hold on to it. We already spent money making it, might as well. It's gonna flop, but just put it out anyway. And it was just that. I don't think this is the kind of movie that the actors or actresses would look at and put in their portfolio and show people, hey, this was some of my best work, because it wasn't. Some of the concepts were interesting, and like the characters getting to know their powers. Well, actually, it was only one character getting to know their power. The main character, and she was adorable, but she's very forgettable. And like shortly after watching this, like 5 minutes after watching this, I completely forgot her name and her face. I had to go back and look it up before making this review. Should you watch this? On principle? No, you don't have to. I mean, it's not really one of those things I'd be like, no, totally don't watch this. It's not worth your time. Or yeah, go watch this. It's one of those things that's like a dream that happened just because you were in REM sleep. It's not a dream that you particularly remember. You'll have some badass nightmares and you'll remember those for the rest of your life. Like that one I had of the kangaroo that was floating outside my window with sharp ass teeth and red eyes. And it wasn't the fact that the kangaroo was floating. It's not the fact that it had really sharp teeth, and kangaroos aren't supposed to have those. It's not even that it had red eyes. That's not what the issue was. It was the fucking eyebrows, my guy. It was the eyebrows, because I saw those first. Funny enough, didn't see the ears of the animal. Like, I looked out my window and I could hear some creaking. I look out and there are these big ass fucking eyebrows on this creature, and they're just floating up very slowly like Star Wars credits. And that's what I see first before I see the rest of the animal. And for some reason that fucked me up. Just the goddamn eyebrows. I remember for like weeks after that, anytime I saw people with like really bushy eyebrows, I thought they were like friends of the kangaroo. It was I don't even know how we got here. See, the movie was so forgettable that it's so easy for me to just talk about other things. And I do that anyway because that's how INFPs roll. We're always off to the next thing. Can't stay on a straight fucking track. I will give the movie this though. It was a more coherent movie than the movie I just watched called, what is it called again? Chaos Walking. We did a review on that too on this channel. You only hear me in the video, but you get what I'm saying. No, you don't? Okay, it doesn't matter. Forget it happened. But that movie was just, wow. Dare I say it? New Mutants was probably a better movie in terms of structure and linear storytelling, even though at times it didn't know what it wanted to be. Like, it starts off as this horror thriller, and then it continues on into this young adult thing, and then it's like, no, but let's be a horror again. And then the horror schemes have that potential to be really scary, and then they just feel like the Power Rangers, and like the next 2 minutes, all of a sudden, it's funny, and these creatures that these people are running from are not to be taken seriously. 1 minute, I'm like, oh shit, that's fucking scary. And then in like the next 2 to 5 minutes, I'm like, look, she just chopped its head off. She went from being batshit scared of those things, so now, hey, bitches, I'm fucking Link. I went to my portal place to get my sword, chop your heads off. Really easy, like they never posed a problem before. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, they're not even scared. Like, even something that they should be scared of that could kill all of them quite easily, they just all treat it like, oh look, it's that dog again. It's on the loose chasing Bobby around the fence while he tries to get his baseball from the neighbor's yard. So it just fell flat for me in that area, and I felt like if they had honed in on that horror aspect, like how they were marketing the movie, it might have done a bit better. But oh well, at least I watched it and I don't feel particularly happy that I did, but it's not like I feel horrible that I did either. It's just, I just passed through a puddle of dirty water and I got some on my shoe and I'm gonna keep on walking because I have a destination and that wasn't it. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.